And joining our discussion now is Democratic Representative Sara Jacobs of California. She's a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Armed Services Committee and happens to be the youngest Jewish member of Congress. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Representative Jacobs. And one of the issues I know you're facing is the questions from your constituents about relatives and friends that they have in Israel about their safety, and some of them attempting to come home. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, look, I myself have family who lives in Israel, my aunt and uncle and my first cousins. And, you know, my one cousin sent me a video of a building half a mile from where she lives that was bombed on Saturday. My other cousin has an 18-month-old, and this is the third time in her short life that she has had to spend multiple nights in a bomb shelter. So this is personal to me, like it is to so many people. And it's why I think it's so important that we continue to assert Israel's right to defend itself and its people. And it's why I'm working closely with the Biden administration to make sure that we are doing everything we can to support Israel and to make sure that we are promoting the rule of the law of war, and working to make sure that we are getting help that we need to civilians who are there, Americans who are living in Israel and Americans who are in the Palestinian territories in Gaza and the West Bank. So I'm leading an effort to make sure that the State Department has Arabic speakers, fluent Arabic speakers, that they're getting information out to Americans in Gaza and the West Bank, in addition to helping to make sure that we are doing everything we can for Americans living in Israel proper. And there are State Department websites that they can go to. They can call the State Department embassy in Jerusalem and also reach out to members of Congress. And we are helping many families, including my own, who are trying to get to the United States right now. In
normal governing times, you are perfectly positioned as a member of the House Foreign Relations Committee and a member of the House Armed Services Committee to be in the thick of this issue. But is the dysfunctional House getting in the way of how you want to be doing your job right now?
Absolutely. Look, we can't do anything on the House floor until we elect a speaker. And it is time for Republicans to come together and pick their speaker candidate and come to the floor. Democrats are ready to come to the floor to vote for our speaker candidate. We are all excited to vote for Hakeem Jeffries for the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th time if necessary. And as Leader Jeffries has very publicly said, publicly and privately, we are open and ready for a bipartisan way forward. Unfortunately, Republicans haven't even come to the table to have that conversation with us. This means we can't pass important resolutions around Israel. It means we can't pass funding and other authorities we might need for the conflict in Israel. This is a real national security issue, and it's time for Republicans to get their act together and elect a speaker.
We heard earlier in the program from your colleague, Dan Goldman, about being in Tel Aviv and with his kids, age 9 to 6, 3 of his kids, his wife, hiding in the stairwell, which was considered the most protective part of the building, and then him having to explain to his kids, age 6 to 9, about what they were going through. When, in your youth and when you were growing up, when did you discover what those kids discovered this weekend, the threat that Israel faces and the threat that Jews face around the world?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's something that I remember learning very young. You know, every other summer, we would go spend the summer in Israel with my cousins, my aunt and uncle, and every other summer, my cousins would come to San Diego and spend the summer with us. And Shar Negev, the community on the border with Gaza, where Kfar Aza is San Diego's sister city, actually. So I've spent a lot of time there with the community there, actually with Israeli Arabs and Palestinians from the neighboring region. And I remember there were really scary times in the 90s, for instance, when we weren't sure what Iraq was doing in regards to Israel, that things got really scary. And not unfortunately, it's not only in Israel. just going to synagogue this past month for the high holidays, it was more security to go into synagogue than I have to go through to go into the White House. We are seeing this horrible anti-Semitism playing out in Israel, but also for Jewish communities around the world.
Representative Sara Jacobs, thank you very much for joining us tonight.